From space, Earth glows blue, a world dominated by water. Over 70% of our surface is ocean, shaping weather, climate, and life itself. Yet, despite this abundance, most of that water is out of reach for us. The journey to find drinkable water is far more challenging than it appears from above. The water cycle, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, constantly recycles this resource, but only a tiny fraction is accessible for our needs. Understanding where our water comes from and how little of it is usable is the first step to valuing this vital resource. Our story is one of abundance and scarcity, power and fragility, a story that touches every life on Earth. An astonishing 97% of all the water on Earth is saltwater, swirling endlessly in our planet's vast oceans and sprawling seas. These immense bodies of water cover more than 2/3 of the Earth's surface, shaping our climate, weather, and even the air we breathe. This salty solution, packed with dissolved minerals, is undrinkable for humans and most land animals. Drinking it would only make us thirstier and speed up dehydration. The saltiness that makes the ocean unique is also what keeps it out of reach for our daily needs. The salt in the ocean comes from millions of years of rain eroding rocks on land, breaking them down and carrying their minerals through rivers to the sea, where they slowly accumulate as water evaporates and leaves the salt behind. Yet, despite its salinity, the ocean is alive with an incredible diversity of creatures. Coral reefs bursting with color, majestic whales gliding through the deep, and mysterious bioluminescent life forms thriving in the darkness below. For humans, the challenge has always been finding ways to separate fresh water from salt. Throughout history, people have experimented with different methods to make seawater drinkable, but it remains a difficult task. Desalination is possible with modern technology, but it's a process that demands a lot of energy and resources, making it expensive and not always practical for large-scale use. For most of human history, the ocean has been an unquenchable source, immense and powerful, but its water has remained just out of reach for our survival. And so, our search for usable, drinkable water must look beyond the endless blue, leading us to rivers, lakes, and other sources of precious fresh water. Only 3% of Earth's water is freshwater, the lifeblood for all land life, agriculture, and industry. This tiny fraction is what sustains forests, fields, and cities, providing the foundation for civilization as we know it. Without it, life on land would simply not exist. But even this small fraction is unevenly distributed, and much of it is locked away or hard to access. Vast amounts are frozen in glaciers and polar ice caps, or buried deep underground, far from the reach of most people and communities. Imagine 100 liters of Earth's water. 97 are salty, just 3 are fresh. The vast blue oceans dominate our planet, but they are undrinkable, leaving us with only a tiny share that can support life on land. Of that, only a sliver is available for us. Most fresh water is trapped in ice or hidden deep below ground, leaving less than 1% easily accessible for people, plants, and animals. Rivers and lakes, though vital, hold less than 1% of all fresh water, yet they sustain cities, farms, and wildlife. These surface waters are the arteries of our world, supporting entire ecosystems and human societies. Hidden below, groundwater in aquifers is a crucial supply, filtered by earth and stone, but vulnerable to overuse and pollution. These underground reserves act as natural storage, slowly replenished over decades or centuries. As demand grows, aquifers can be depleted faster than they refill, and contamination from industry or agriculture can threaten their purity, making careful stewardship more important than ever. This invisible reserve supports billions, especially in rural areas, and keeps rivers flowing during drought. In many places, it is the only reliable source when surface water runs dry. Every drop of accessible fresh water is precious, and its careful management is essential for our future. Protecting these sources means safeguarding life itself. The search for fresh water is a story of scarcity, ingenuity, and survival, a challenge that has shaped human history and will define our future on this blue planet. Most of Earth's fresh water, about 69%, is frozen in ice caps and glaciers, far from daily reach. Antarctica alone holds 60% of all fresh water, locked in ice up to 4 kilometers thick. If these ice sheets melted, sea levels would rise catastrophically, reshaping our world. Mountain glaciers, though smaller, are vital water towers for millions, releasing meltwater that sustains rivers and communities. But as the climate warms, glaciers are shrinking, threatening water supplies and increasing the risk of shortages. The retreat of ice is a stark warning. Our largest store of fresh water is fragile and its future uncertain. The fate of these frozen reserves will shape the destiny of countless people and ecosystems. If you subtract the ice locked away in glaciers and the deep groundwater that's out of reach, less than 1% of all the water on Earth is actually fresh and accessible to us. That's a tiny sliver of the world's water supply, almost invisible when you consider the vastness of our oceans and the dryness of so much land. Imagine lining up 100 glasses of water. 97 are filled with salty ocean water, 2 are frozen solid, and just 1 contains liquid fresh water. But even that single glass isn't all drinkable. Only a few precious drops are clean, safe, and within our reach. The rest is locked away, polluted, or simply inaccessible. This tiny fraction of accessible fresh water is all we have to quench the thirst of billions of people, to irrigate our crops, and to power our industries. Every drop is stretched to meet the needs of growing populations and expanding cities. But not all fresh water is safe to drink. Contamination from harmful microbes, toxic chemicals, and pollution is a constant threat, turning once pristine sources into hazards for people and wildlife alike. For millions around the world, access to clean water is a daily struggle. Sanitation and purification remain out of reach for many families, forcing them to rely on unsafe sources and spend hours each day just to collect water. The water that flows from our taps is the result of complex infrastructure, careful management, and decades of hard-won progress. It's a privilege that's easy to take for granted, but it's far from universal. For much of the world, the illusion of abundance hides a much harsher reality, one where every drop counts and scarcity is a daily concern. In the end, we depend on a rare, precious drop in a vast ocean, a resource more valuable than we often realize. Clean water is the foundation of every ecosystem. Plants, animals, and humans all depend on it. Photosynthesis, the basis of life, requires water. Without it, food webs collapse. Animals migrate and gather around water sources, shaping entire landscapes and survival strategies. Freshwater habitats are delicate. Pollution can devastate fish, amphibians, and insects, unraveling entire ecosystems. Agriculture, the backbone of civilization, consumes vast amounts of water for crops and livestock. Public health, sanitation, and modern life all rely on clean water. Where it's lacking, life is harder and shorter. Advances in water treatment have transformed societies, but billions still lack safe access. Water is not a luxury. It's the building block of health, dignity, and civilization. We live on a water-rich planet, yet truly usable water is incredibly scarce and precious. The tiny fraction in rivers, lakes, and shallow aquifers sustains all terrestrial life and human civilization, supporting countless ecosystems. This resource is under growing strain. Overuse, pollution, and climate change threaten its delicate balance and future availability. We all share responsibility to protect and conserve water, from fixing leaks to choosing less water-intensive products in our daily lives. Every small action, multiplied by millions, truly makes a difference. To care for water is to care for life itself. Our health, food, and future all depend on wise stewardship. Our blue planet's essence is fragile. We must keep it flowing, clean and clear for generations to come and beyond.